So in this chapter we're going to take a look at users, the creation, security and history of users. And so I'll show you how to create a new contact. So we can go down to here to new contact, or if we want to we can highlight one and we can right click on it and we can go to copy, and that will create a copy of that user. Here we can type in our contact name, so we've got a new member called Bob Willis, and you can type in any further details here, and down here you can select which category they go into. So the Myriad Manager is used for contacts that are both contacts for perhaps the newsroom or for other presenters that you've got on your rota to fill in for people, or you could select and create a category called Myriad Users if you wanted to separate people out into just general contacts and also staff members as well. So if we were to create a new category, we can go up here and we'll go to new category, and we could type that one as presenters and then highlight that one there. Now if we go back to our Bob Willis, we can select that we want him in the presenter category, and over here we can go to login, and we'll create a login name for him. This will be his login to Myriad, and in fact any of the P² directory enabled programs. So type in the login name, we can set a password for him, and we've got the option here that the account is disabled, contact cannot log in, so that's for disabling an account. Allow this contact to change their own password. This contact must change their password next time they log in. Automatically log this contact on if already logged into Windows, so that's if he's already logged in as Bob Willis into Windows itself, and whether or not it's a software account used for some special directory applications. Here we can set a expiry date, and also when they last logged in is detailed here. In the settings, the security group, remember we had just that all users. If we created other ones, then we could select here, and so that will use the security permissions set for that security group. If however we wanted to slightly change Bob's permissions, then we can click on here, and again we have audio wall, directory and Myriad, which were the three permissions ranges. We can just highlight one, and then we can go into here and we can change those like we did in a previous chapter here. We can also reset all of the contacts preferences to the defaults, but we're quite happy allowing him to access everything. In here we can add in any notes that we want to about this contact, probably more useful for general contacts for perhaps the newsroom. So when we're happy with that, we can click on save. That creates our Bob Willis there. And we've got our two categories. At the moment we're showing everything in all categories, but we could, if we wanted to, just go to presenters, and that just shows up Bob Willis here. If we wanted to add guest user, which we do, into presenters, then we can click on there, click on save, and that says there it will change it next time, and we can go into Studio One, and that again is a presenter, it's not a general contacts. So we can close that one down here, and then that way if we go into these general contacts and presenters, we've now set that one out. So in the general contacts we've just got our one here, which we can double click on, we can find out more information on, and then we've also got our presenters here in alphabetical order, and again we can just click on Bob, fill out more details and click on save. So that's how to create a new user, or if you want to create a brand new one, you can just go down to new contact, fill in the details and do it from there. So that's dealt with the creation and also the security as to their permissions, but let's have a look at the history. And so guest user is the account that we've been using, and to take a look at the history of this user, you can double click on the user and you can go up here to this clock icon, and it will display the user's history. If we just maximize that out, we can take a look here, and so it's automatically filled in that the login is guest, and here we've got an option just to restrict it to a certain P² application. The time and date, also we can refine down what the event is. So here you can see everything that's been done in the last month by this user. We can go in there and have a look and see what they've been doing, see what carts they've been doing, see whether they've been deleting anything, and that enables you to find out what's been going on. Here we can go into Myriad, and that will sort everything in the Myriad list, and we could sort this action by default here into A to Z, and then that way it shows up all of the carts. We can see that he deleted cart 8001 on this date and at this time here. So it enables us to fully see what the user has been up to, whether they've created any new ones, also whether they've been what time they've been logging in and logging out of the system as well, and whether or not they've been using the log or not and changing bits and pieces around, or whether they've been changing any of the station database settings. So you get a full rundown here. You can also see what they've been doing. So here we can see that the user guest added in a website, bbc.co.uk, and you can also see here that we also added in that Bob, and we edited those two to make them into presenter category. So you get a full rundown of everything that's been going on in the system per username, or you can just select all login names, do a search, and that will go through the whole of the database, and from there you can save the results or you can print the results out. So again, very useful if something goes wrong with your system or the user's having some problems. Also very useful for finding out whether or not the user has been having any problems with the system. And then you can say, oh, I saw that you were having problems logging in, for example. Would you like me to remind you of what your username and password is, or reset your user account? So that is another reason why history is very useful. To get to that as well, if you didn't want to go into the user, you can go to Tools and Directory History Log, and here you've got the various options. More details again in the manual.